Next to the war between Israel and Hamas, there is a fresh warning today from the UN Secretary General about the consequences of a planned Israeli ground offensive into Rafah.
Rafah is the core of the humanitarian aid operation, and UNRWA is the backbone of that effort. An all-out Israeli offensive on the city would not only be terrifying for more than 1 million Palestinian civilians sheltering there, it would put the final nail in the coffin of our aid programs.
This is new video into us from Rafah this morning, showing the aftermath from what Palestinians say was a weekend of heavy bombardments across Gaza. This morning, the Gaza Health Ministry, run by, controlled by Hamas, says at least 29,782 Palestinians have been killed since the war began. As Abby Kugadassan tells us now, the Israeli government is giving a new signal that the assault into Rafah will indeed go ahead.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the IDF has presented the war cabinet with a plan to evacuate Palestinians from areas of fighting, referring to Rafah. The details have not been made public on how they intend to move about 1.4 million Palestinians who are sheltering in what we see, of course, has become very much a tent city amid ongoing aerial bombardment. This is where the IDF initially told people to go for their safety, go to the south, head in that direction. Now, a Palestinian Authority spokesperson condemning any steps to evacuate any parts of Gaza, accusing Netanyahu of looking to displace Palestinians and reoccupy their land. Now, as you mentioned, there is a concern around a ground incursion into Rafah. Israel previously saying it could start on March 10th, around the start of Ramadan. But on Sunday, Benjamin Netanyahu said such a move is a matter of when, not if. It's happening, he says, even if all the hostages are released by Hamas.
If we have a deal, it'll be delayed somewhat, but it'll happen. If we don't have a deal, we'll do it anyway. It has to be done because total victory is our goal, and total victory is within reach, not months away, weeks away, once we begin the operation.
Now, Benjamin Netanyahu has repeatedly said that there must be absolute victory over Hamas. A senior Hamas official now accusing Netanyahu of not being interested in reaching any kind of agreement at all. Now, over the weekend, we did see some demonstrations in Tel Aviv, some people angry over the handling of the war by the coalition government. There was fresh anger even last week when the Israeli finance minister said that releasing the hostages wasn't actually a top priority. Now, others protesting over the weekend were angry with the prime minister, with Netanyahu, and demanding an election. Now, some viewers may remember there were mass protests in Israel before this war over Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's judicial overhaul plans, Heather.
Abby, there's another significant development we're tracking today, and it is this: the Prime Minister for the Palestinian Authority is resigning. What are the implications of that?
Yeah, the Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh says he submitted his entire government's resignation to President Mahmoud Abbas. As of right now, we understand that Abbas has not accepted this resignation. As we know, the Palestinian Authority partly administers the occupied West Bank, and Shtayyeh says his decision now coming amid Israel's aggression in Gaza, as well as the escalation in the occupied West Bank and Jerusalem. Now, these resignations come amid U.S. pressure on Abbas to reform the PA. Washington absolutely wants to see the Palestinian Authority govern Gaza once the war ends. But we know that Netanyahu's own plan for the day after makes no mention of the PA at all. Now, there is a deal being negotiated with mediators, some of that happening over the weekend in Paris. We'll keep an eye on it for you, Heather. We understand that Israeli delegation is in Qatar right now for those talks today.
Thank you very much, Abby.